Hey everybody, and welcome back to another lecture with Coding with Roby. And in this lecture, we're going to create a static directory where we can set up our own CSS and JavaScript to our application. So the first thing we want to do is create a new directory under To-Do app, which is called static, and make sure you name it static. And now under static, we're going to create another directory called To-Do. And now under To-Do, we're going to create two directories, one for CSS and one for JavaScript. And inside our CSS directory, let's create a new CSS file called base.css. And as we can remember, we have one h tag. So let's modify this one h tag. We can do this by saying h1 curly brackets, and then saying color :red. All right, and now let's close these files. And let's jump on over to our main.py file. And remember, our main.py file is our main file for the application. It includes all the routing to our authentication file and our to-dos file. Right under our models.base meta file, we're going to have to import static files. But first, let's import it from the directory above. We can say from starlight.staticfiles import static files. Now under models.base, we now need to use a mounting technique to mount our static files to our application. And mounting means adding a completely independent application to a specific path that then takes care of handling everything under the path with the path operations declared in that sub-application. And that's quoting directly from the FastAPI documentation. We can do this by saying app.mount parentheses, double quotation marks, /static, comma, static files, and as the parameter, directory equals static, comma, name equals static. All right, now let's open up our terminal and restart our server. And we still get our exact same response of welcome to this FastAPI course. And that's because we need to import now our CSS styles into our HTML file. So if we go back to our application and we open up our home.html file, and inside the head, let's create a new link which refers to a style sheet, which is of type text CSS. And here we're going to type in some funky looking code, but I'm going to go over this step by step. So href equals quotes, bracket, URL for parentheses, single quotes static, comma, path equals, and here we're going to define the path to our CSS, which we already created. So from static, it's to do CSS base.css. All right, now let's go back to our web application and refresh the page. And there we have it. Welcome to this FastAPI course is now read. And now let's re-walk through everything we just did. We have our main.py file, which is using an app.mount to import our static directory. So our static directory, we're saying make sure we get everything from this static directory. And then inside our static directory, we have our /todo, we have our CSS and our JavaScript directory, which everything is empty, but really our CSS directory, which has our base.css file. Inside our base.css file, we have our h1 tag where we're changing the color to red. And inside our HTML file, we have one h1 tag which is going to change the color to red, and we had to import the link. So we have to import our styles, which is our base.css file, to be able to configure and add our CSS. And inside here, we have to use some FastAPI and Jinja specific verbiage to be able to say, from our root path of static, let's import todo CSS base.css. This wraps up the lecture on adding CSS to our templates in FastAPI, and I will see you in the next video.